Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our episode of The Power of Education, where we're talking about a burning issue on child marriages that's been happening all over the world. But recently, we have had an incident in Zimbabwe, a very tragic incident where we lost a 14-year-old girl while she was giving birth. Welcome, Deborah. Good morning. And welcome, Kathleen. Good morning. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to watch a video and then we will discuss. The topic for today is the role of a father in a family or the role of a father in the community. We'll watch the video and then we'll come back for discussion. Thank you.
Tiri kuita zvikuru kukurudzira vanhu vakuru, especially vana baba, kuti musarodze vana vachiri vadiki. Zvakanaka kuti mwana ngaapedze chikoro. Hungu zvinhu zvingaoma, hungu dzimwe nguva kuchikoro kwacho hazvisi kumufambira zvakanaka, asi zviri nani tigare nevana vedu tichivadzidzisa. Saka hurukuro yetaiva nayo kuikasa yanga iri yekuti vana baba nevana vedu vakomana ngatibetseranei kuti vana vasaroorana vachiri vadiki, mwana mudiki asarodzwa achiri mudiki kune mudhara. Ngatiitei kuti vana vedu vakure vari muchikoro. Uyezve takatarisira kuti mwanasikana akaita nhumbi achiri mwana mudiki anokwanisa kurwadziwa ndiyo zvakanyanya, anokwanisa kuita mwana anenge ariwo mudiki diki achazokurawo achishupika. Saka vana ngavakure kusvika pakuita munhu mukuru vasati vaita vana ivo pachezvavo.
So we are saying marriages. I know we've been talking about how do we bring the men, the fathers, the uncles, the sons, and as well the brothers into this conversation. How do we involve them and articulate their role as fathers in the family? Mabel, welcome and good morning. I think, is it good afternoon where you are or good morning?
She's not here. Oh, I can't see her.
I need to bring her into the stream. Okay.
Am I here? Good. Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Deborah. It's morning here. It's 8:30, just past 8:30.
Awesome. Welcome. We've just played a video where the lady, her name is Lynette Mudekunye. She works for one of the NGOs that focuses on children and education. And she was talking about they had a conversation at some summit or some conference where they invited the fathers and the sons and the boys to come and talk about the issue of marrying off girls or marrying off children in general while they are still young. So today our topic is, what is the role of a father? What is the role of a man in the community? What is the role of a father in the family? We can just go around and discuss as well as discuss the video. I'll start with you, Deborah.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much, ladies. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening in Australia. The fathers are making the rules in parliament, in the churches, in the home. So we are now approaching the rule makers to say, please help us. Because in the house, we all know in the home, it's the father who says. In the church, leaders are mostly men. In the parliament, the leaders are mostly men. So now we are appealing to their father side, not the leader side, the part that the father. As a father, please protect our children. Help us protect our children. In other words, change these rules as a father. Feel for your children. Think about it as a father, not as a leader, not as a ruler, but have a heart. How we can approach it is individually. We really need to talk to our men in the house. We need to teach our boys to respect women when they are still boys. If you've got children who are boys and girls, don't treat the girls less when the boys are watching. Because what you are saying to the boys is, you are better than your sister. He's gonna get married and he won't respect his wife. He won't respect his girl children. Because you have taught him that he's much better as a boy. So mothers, we need to take heed of this. Yeah. Teach your kids to respect women. If you are going to talk to your husband, be respectful and appeal to him as a human being. To say, look, my husband, we can't let our child get married now. She's only a child. I know we can't afford school fees. Some people can't afford school fees. Let him stay in the home and grow. Because what we teach in the home is important as well. Education is very important, but if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. The child can stay in the home and you can teach her values in the home as she matures enough to get married. So we need to appeal to our husbands. It starts with the husbands and sons. It starts in the home.
It starts in the home. Yes, and we'll move over to you, Mabel.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, Deborah, you touched the raw nerve because I've got 3 boys. So it just, I guess, enlarged the parenting role as what do you teach your boys so that they, because probably I'm the first female they have in the house before they actually venture outside. So what am me and my husband showing in respect to women so that the boys can identify? And I love that when you're saying it starts at home, because kids role model what they see. We talk a lot, but they say 90% of the things kids absorb is just by seeing without us talking. So I think emphasis has to be the marriage relationship between a husband and a wife, so that they see, how does dad talk to mom when dad is angry, when dad is tired. Those are the most sensitive times when a man probably shows his real character. How does he react to mom? The conversations about money, and the conversations about important things. Do they see dad valuing mom's input? Do they see dad showing that mom is got an input in thinking? Not just the duties of the house, but what's her role input in towards making decisions for the house. Because if they see mom being subservient, then that's what they're going to get. Or mom does not make decisions. A woman does not make decisions. A woman has got no place. But if that partnership is emphasized in the home, they can see, oh, mom's got something to bring to the table as a thinker, just rather than just a person who does the things in the house. I think that's really important. The marriage itself, if it's a household that's got the two parents in place, the role modeling of the importance of a woman and a wife in the house, not just as a doer, not just as a cleaner, not just as a cook, but also as a thinker, as a person who's valued their feelings. Sometimes women, we just need our own space to be females. Like I emphasize that in my house, I've got 4 men altogether. So sometimes my feelings and my femalehood gets tramped within the whole testosterone drive in the house. So just emphasize a lot that, women have feelings, women need time out. There's time when I'm totally tired because of my cycle. I just need that time out. Just re-educating them that it's not that, what do they say? At the time of the month type of scenario where it's downplayed, it's a crazy time, but just respectful that, women have cycles, women have think even different issues, and that just should be respected. It's not just a cycle that women go crazy. And I think it's also raising boys, making them do. I don't have any girls, so maybe it's easier for me to do. But we do all the chores in the house together, so there's no demarcation of this is a female job, this is a lady's job, it's a girl job. They cook, they clean, they do their laundry, they do the bins. They pretty much do everything in the house. And I know when I started doing this in the beginning, my son said, "Are we slaves, mom, in the house?" So, so I had to explain that the house is a team and we all have a part to play, like a football team. It's got strikers, it's got defenders, it's got everything else. So the house has got a team and we all have a part to play. And I think if we raise our boys with such morals from the beginning, when they go into their own household, they're not going to expect their wives to do everything else, because mom taught me that I have to play in the house. Mom has taught me that I can cook. I can cook for that. There's no lack of respect if a husband cooks for the family. If a husband does chores in the house, does not mean you've lost your manhood. So things like that, title of the house is, because if you respect a woman that way and the roles are the chores are demarcated to everybody else, then it's not the definition of manhood as it tends to be. And then they tend to respect women, the ones they marry, and they've got that equal respect. So stuff like that, I think right at the beginning, like Deborah said, from the home, setting those standards and setting those boundaries, I think is really important.
Yes, and you are so right, because children watch us more than they listen to us. So how are we modeling this relationship between a man and a woman? And what are the lessons, the silent lessons that we are sending to our boy children, even to the girls? If you're just a mother who's disregarded in the marriage, who's not consulted on important issues, and even I really believe that as a husband, then you have to show your children how the wife should be treated. So if the man is cold and unaccommodating in front of the kids, that's what they'll grow up with, and that's what they know. So thank you so much, Mabel. It really, really makes sense. I suppose you have, how many boys? Two boys? Three boys? Two boys?
I have 3 boys altogether. So yeah.
Did we lose it?
No, she's
I
there.
know my network is also very funny today.
I'm here. Can
Kathleen?
you hear me? Yeah.
Three boys. Yeah. So we're watching you. We're watching you. Okay, Kathleen? Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, whatever you are,
Whatever time.
whatever time it is. Well, it is a good discussion, really, where we need to find out what are the roles of a father. I think it starts from when the boy child is still young. Just to start from there, because it's part of how the children are raised in the house. And in my case, I had two boys, and I've got two boys and two girls. But I think they did everything together. It was like someone is cooking today, and someone is doing this, and someone is washing. And because I was a single mom, so maybe someone who has got a husband is what I would want to talk about, because I look at how the other homes did their things. It was always the boy child is a prince. He has got to be served with food. He will leave the dishes there. He will stand up and go, and the girl child has got to pick them. And at one time, I even thought, what is the real role of a boy child in a family? Because it doesn't seem like he has got any. Which is why, at the end of it all, he doesn't respect his wife. Neither does he respect his girl child, because he doesn't know. He was never taught. I've heard a lot of men saying, I was never taught how to cook. I was never taught how to do laundry. I was never taught how to clean the house. So this is where the man ends up in a position where, if the wife leaves and she goes somewhere, he has to go out there and get someone to come and do those things, because he was never taught. So let's start from the beginning, where these are children, because as they say in English, catch them while they are still young. While they are still young, that's the time where we are supposed to raise the children and be hands-on, because the boy child has been neglected for a long time as well. We have not given him the role. Many times you will find that I could see some of the families where there was a girl child would be the senior one, the eldest, and then there are boys. The boys had the audacity to challenge the sister and tell her that she doesn't have a place there. She will have a place when she's married. And if she does anything, the parents would say beat her. So the boy child would come and beat her sister at home. These are still kids. So the brother will come and beat this elder sister to show that he is the powerful one. And meanwhile, if you have got children at home, a boy and a girl, and these children misbehave during the day, the mother says, oh, if I'm going to tell your dad when he comes home. Big mistake. Because what you have just said is, you have got no power. You do not know how to raise your children. So it's only the husband that has got to teach the child the manners. So what is your role as a mother? Because I thought we are both parents. These children were brought by us. So we need to be hands-on, both me and my husband. We do not need to wait for someone to come and discipline our child. And they do not even instill that ideology of saying, when dad comes, he's the one who's going to discipline you. Because we already have told this boy, he can control this sister anyhow. So he goes out of the house and gets married, or even not even getting married. We see in Zimbabwe boys beating up girls in the streets because she's not dressed properly. Because we saw her misbehaving. What about the boy child? How does he dress up? We see those ones with the trousers right down here at the bottom. Where are the boys to beat him up? Because he's also not dressed properly. Why are they not taking charge and tell him that no, that's disgusting. Dress up as a man. They leave him with his trousers right down at the bottom. See? Yeah. So it's a question of conscientizing our boy child. And if you have got two children, a boy and a girl, make sure you conscientize them that they are equal. They have to move on as partners, and when he gets married, he knows how to treat his wife.
So true, so true. There's a lot of the power that's given to the son more than the daughter. The son is even given power to, like you're saying, to discipline the sister, even if the sister is older. I would like to welcome Vicky. Welcome to the show, and welcome Ambiavashe back on the show. I know that you've been trying to come on. Vicky,
Thank you.
your thoughts. We are talking about the role of the father in the issue that is burning in Zimbabwe. Introduce yourself. Where are you catching us from?
Okay, my name is Victoria Mamvura. I'm based in Namibia. I'm a Zimbabwean. I'm a freelance consultant in gender, competence-based education and training, tourism and hospitality, and a host of other things. Thank you for welcoming me.
Awesome. Thank you. You are actually the voice that we want to chime in into this conversation. The role of the father in the family, the role of the father in even these arranged marriages. Your thoughts?
I don't believe in arranged marriages. They are our cultural heritage in some parts of the Zimbabwean culture, but I've never believed in that because in my family lineage from my mother's age group, that has never been part of our culture. So I don't believe in that, and I don't support arranged marriages at all. Because as far as I'm concerned, marriage should come out of love. And if we love ourselves, we should love our children the same. So as far as I'm concerned, arranged marriages are a no-no.
That's so true. That's so true. Ambearashe, good morning. Is she there?
She said she's in the background. She's at work, I think.
Oh, she's at work. All right. I've got some comments that are coming in from some of our viewers. Thank you, the audience that are watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Tawe Kwama Jira says, well said, thank you. Innocencia Chuzu Chamberlain says, this is profound information. So, so true. Okay, so now we've spoken about the role of the father and how we can try in our different places, in our different spheres of influence to approach the fathers, to gain I don't know whether to call it a movement by men, where they are also standing alongside us, standing with us on this issue of pushing for ending child marriages. I know that this issue is now being discussed in a number of platforms, in a number of NGOs are pushing and putting pressure on the government. But what I wanted us to talk about is when, as a father, when we say a father is a protector, what is it that a child is expecting from him? When we say, this is my father, he will protect me. Are we only talking about when there's imminent danger, when there's a lion outside, or when there's somebody with a gun outside who wants to kill me? How do we then share, or how do we give that information to our male counterparts on, do you really understand what your role as a protector of your family is? Deborah?
Hi, I just wanted to add something. I just wanted to ask, not add. When it comes to our men, as women, can we maybe write an open letter from mothers to the leaders? Just a suggestion. To present kuwapfugamira, kunowapa tsamba, to kneel down to them and give them this letter from us mothers to you as fathers. Please help us. I don't know.
Such a great idea.
Just a suggestion, because like church leaders and country leaders, maybe to say, we have come together as women to say, please help us. I don't know, it's just a suggestion. When it comes to the role of child protection, it's like planting a field. A child is like your seed. You have planted the seed, you look after it. Isn't it? You protect it from being attacked, by being eaten by goats, by cows. You are going to look after that seed until the end. If cows come in and eat your field, you are going to chase them away because you are protecting your field. You water that seed. You're going to take away weeds. This is when inappropriate friends come. Is it when we're growing up, we are told you can't play with those children over there. You can't mix with those. We are taking away weeds from our precious plant. Please read your books. We are putting fertilizer in our plant so that our plant grows, flourishes. We feed them good food. We try to give them good food so that they are nourished each day. This is the role of what a parent is. It's all round. Like Mabel said, it's not just what we say. Children see what we do as well. Okay? If you are drinking and getting drunk and puking and your children are watching, that is what they're learning. If you are a parent who kneels down and pray, that is what your children are learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those parents who say, oh, we only fight in the bedroom, they don't hear us. Yes, they do. They learn from what you do, not what you say. Most of the time you find if you swear, your 3-year-old will swear one day and you'll be surprised. Don't say that word. Yeah, but you do in front of her. So that's what they pick up what we do. If you're a kind person, your kids will be kind. Your kids will be rewarded for your kindness. Samuel 9. I think it's Samuel 1:9, where it says, who is still here, who's from the house of Jonathan, so I can do him good for the sake of his father.
Oh, wow.
So what you sow is how your kids will also reap. If you are a nasty person in the community, your kids are going to be shunned. It's all round protection. Are you protecting your kids? Are you being nice to the community so your kids are protected by the community? Are you protecting the community's kids? Because the community kids are your kids. So if you see them out there being naughty, say, excuse me, please don't do that. Don't throw stones at cars. You're going to post your parents. Don't do that. Don't smoke that. It's all round protection. We can't just feed my children and just look after my children and be nasty to the other kids. It's looking out for everybody's kids. Looking out for that boy, even if they will shout at you. Some kids will look at you and say, but you're not my mom. That's fine. You have said something, they hear you. So it's all round, even the fathers, it's all round protection. You can't just bring money into the house and think that's it. You have to have good deeds, you have to talk, and you don't stop talking. I know because my kids are teenagers, some are older. You don't stop talking. My mom still talks to me. Do you think that's a good idea what you're doing? You don't stop that. You have to keep pruning. Even if they don't listen, you have to keep on. Protection is protecting from everything. Not just I drink, you don't drink. Yeah, but you're drinking and beating up mom. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Again, modeling. Yeah. Protection is protection from everything, from all evil things and bad things. Just showing that he's an all-round protector. Welcome,
and protecting
Millie.
from themselves. You have to protect
Thank
them
you.
from themselves.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, from themselves. And welcome, Tanya and Leah Black Cloud. I think your devices are not connected, so I won't be able to add you to the broadcast, but I want to welcome you. If you want to be part of the broadcast, please join with your mic and with your camera so that we can add you onto the broadcast. Millie, introduce yourself. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Harare, Zimbabwe.
Okay, they're welcome. And the issue at
Thank
hand, we
you.
are talking about the role of the father in the home, the role of the father in the community. And Deborah has just been talking about him as a protector, the father as a protector. What does it mean to be a protector? Is there enough understanding amongst our husbands, our brothers, our sons, and our fathers and uncles about the role of being a protector? Maybe your thoughts, Millie.
I think starting with the father, a lot of fathers are still sitting in the instrumental role where they say, I'm the breadwinner, I bring the bread. Everything else is just by the way. And now, by virtue of the changes we have seen in the environment that we are living in, it needs to go beyond that. Way back, it was the rest of the community, perhaps, that made sure that the children were protected while the father was earning a living, maybe somewhere in Joburg or Harare or Blawayo, wherever they went. But now, the father is the family is not even within the community that would normally feel an obligation to support the children. So fathers now have to become more active in the protection of the child. Is my child gone to school? At school, is my child being bullied? On the bus, is my child safe when taking that ride? And who is stalking my child? And is my child going to the right sites on the internet? Or are we just saying, wow, they are on the internet, they are playing their games and all is well? Because protection is now broader by virtue of the diversity of opportunities for being abused, misused, or misinformed and taken advantage of. Fathers have to be more active. Mothers spend a lot of time with the children, but maybe at times mothers may not have all the time to go through everything all by themselves, because parenting is a joint venture. It can't be for one parent, it's for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Millie. It's so true that the fathers have to be hands on. They have to be part of this rearing and raising our children.
Mhm.
Okay. Vicky says a Kutsura should come in a humble way because people then become repulsive or they become defensive if they feel like they're being lectured, which when Deborah spoke about the suggested that we could go to the elders, to the leaders, to the church leaders, and take an open letter from the mothers in Toba Pugamira, where we knew before them, and so we're not coming to them with an attitude of arrogance. We are coming to them and saying, "You are instrumental in making this change," and we are humbling ourselves as mothers and we are saying, please hear us. That will be my understanding of kneeling and doing that. But very interesting that I know when people are rebuked or are being vakatsurwa, they can take it the wrong way. Okay. Ambelashe, we said Ambelashe is at work. Mebo?
Yeah. So my I guess understanding of protection of a father is like Vicky said, now it's extension, but I think the role of a father is protection over everything. So it covers protection over culture. So if your culture is abusive to your family and to your children, you should be able to override that. If your religion is a potential harm to your family, to your community, and to your child, then you should be able to override that, because you realize that culture, for me, a definition of culture is simply group habits that have been organized for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So sometimes we over respect and emphasize a culture at the expense of the community, at the expense of the immediate family, and right now it's at the expense of the girl child. So some practices that they've been authorized as okay, and because it's culture, it makes it okay, but it's not okay if it's at the risk of your child. So I think one of the important roles of a father is being able to step up and protect your child from cultures and from religions and from people who can look okay on the surface, but if it's causing harm to your child or potential harm to your child, then you should be able to step up. So it could come as simple as your child is at school and there's a protest against animals, and
I think Mabel's network
the
is
schooling
also
system is
very
part of life.
sketchy.
Bullying is not part of life. Bullying is not part of school. um, Bullying is not part of school. Bullying is not part of learning. So we should not accept certain things because the child is in this environment. Similarly, so if we relate it back to why we're here in the first place, for example, this girl child is being married off young because of cultural reasons, because of religious reasons. But is my daughter ready enough for marriage? Mentally, psychologically, and biologically, she is not ready. So as a father, you're supposed to step up and say no. Why? Because my girl child is not ready. She's not ready mentally, she's not ready physiologically, she's not ready psychologically. So I'm going to step up beyond the culture, beyond the religion, and protect my child. So I think for me, it's having that power and that confidence and that tenacity to step up and rise beyond the society, beyond what is the normal. If the base is that if it's potential harm to my child, I know Ruth mentioned that, protection against animals and lions. We don't live in that era anymore. But now our danger is the culture. Our danger is social media, like another speaker
Yeah.
said. The danger could be a perpetrator. How are we protecting our children from these simple things? And another thing about protection is for their well-being, because protection of a father could be you're providing food and accommodation and education, but what about your child's well-being? Is your child mature enough to handle certain things? My 2-year-old, this 3-year-old, the stuff I allow him to do is different from my 13-year-old, is different from my 15-year-old. Why? Because of the maturity thing. Their awareness is different. So therewise, as a protection, there are things my 3-year-old cannot do. There are things my 12-year-old is not ready for, and there are things my 15-year-old is not there for. So in terms of our parenting and the role as a father is understanding that, what, my child is not ready for this. Maturity, is it a good thing? Marriage is a good thing, but not right now, not for my 9-year-old. Marriage is not a bad thing, but we're just saying my child is not ready right now for this. And I think for protection, that's where parents really need to step up and not just let the culture override, not society override, not people override, but have your child's well-being as a priority for your child.
Awesome. That's so true. When you talk about culture, I remember my father having sort of like disagreements with his brothers, because my father was very liberal, open-minded. He allowed us to be children, and he had no problem with us wearing trousers. And now his brothers had issues with that, and he was like, no, these are just children. They let them decide how they want to dress when they are older. But now there's no issue, because his point was, you cannot judge a character of a person just based on their way they're dressed. You can't say Mano Ihure because she's wearing trousers. She's wearing a pair of trousers. That's not right. That's not true. So yes, fathers sometimes will need to step out of that tradition, the culture, the way of we've been doing things for years, and just stand up and say, no, enough is enough. I mean, that's how we've obviously moved on to wearing clothes instead of the skins that our ancestors used to wear, because at some point you realize this does not work anymore. So if something is not working anymore, if it's hurting our children, if it's hurting our society or our communities, then we should stop it. And this is the same with the child marriages. Okay. Um, Tanya is from the Sunday Mail. Tanya, would love to hear from you. Are you able to chime in to connect your devices? Welcome, Irina. Irina has joined us, but also not connected. Ladies, if you want us to hear your voices, please connect your devices, connect your mics and your cameras, or chat to us on Facebook. Put up your messages there, then we'll read your comments and share with everyone.
The other thing that I wanted to point out.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to fathers, we need to stop the cultural feared father. Don't be feared in your house. Be approachable. Show your children love, because that builds their self-confidence. They won't go out there looking for love when they've got it in the home. Don't put your children down all the time. The word that we use, stupid, don't call your children stupid. It takes away from their self-confidence bit by bit. Try and talk to your children as a human being, not a dictator. Because growing up, I remember our fathers were feared. You dread coming home because mom will say, I'll tell your father when he comes home. So every time, when evening is coming, you are scared because you know when father comes, it's only beating. You couldn't ask your father anything because he shouts all the time. He's angry. Be approachable and show your children. I know you love your kids inside. They need to be shown. It's better to be respected than to be feared. By showing them love, they will respect you instead of fearing you. Get to know your little people and let them approach you, even if you think what they are talking about is very stupid. Be an approachable father. Be loving. Show it. Don't just love inside. And stop dictating. Don't be so angry. Life is tough, yes. Money is tight, yes. Try and have a laugh once in a while. Let your kids see that you are human. And when you make a mistake, it's okay to let the kids know that even fathers make a mistake, so that they know you are human. It's not about what I say goes. Don't say it nicely. They will take it. There's no need to be so bullish all the time and just shouting all the time, so the kids are scared. They always go to mom because you can't approach dad, you'll be in trouble. And everything they talk about will end up being trouble. Why are you playing outside? Who said you can play outside? Well, it's outside. I'm not doing any harm. Why are you drinking that water? Who said you can drink that water? Talk to your kids. And if they make a mistake, correct them nicely. They will listen to you. Just be a human being. Don't be too much of a bully in your own household, because your kids will then go outside to look for love outside. That's when they meet these pedophiles. That's when they meet the wrong friends, because they are looking for something you are not giving them. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying, as fathers, we need you guys to be approachable.
Yeah. I'll chime in. It draws me back to sometime I had this chat when I said the love of a father, it has to start from the maternity ward. He has got to be in there to see how his child is being delivered. Because without him in the maternity ward, he doesn't know anything about the child. He will never be attached to that child. It's like when you look at a man who will be shouting, I've got 17 children, I've got 20 children, because they've never been to the maternity ward and see what happens in the labor ward. If they go into the maternity and see how you deliver, many times the men will say, no, one is enough. It's not a joke to deliver a child. So the father should start from there. He should be there to see how the child is getting delivered. And from there now, he will start to have this love, and he will cherish and he has got that feeling of saying, I saw my child getting born, and I would want to see my child getting the good things that he can afford. Because it doesn't matter that he is rich or poor. Because we have this culture which we have always had in Zimbabwe, where the husband is told to go away. So he goes away. The only thing that happens is he's going to come back home and find there's a baby. It's like someone has gone to the grocery store and brought a basket of potatoes or a pumpkin, because he doesn't know how the child came. He has got no clue at all. So with me, I would want to urge each man to be there when the child is born, because that love should start from there. That care should start from there. Because a lot of fathers, the way they treat their children, I used to see fathers beating up their children like you'd think he's gonna kill the child. For just because the child has made a mistake, there's no reason for that. It's just a question of saying, oh, okay, son, can you sit down? Let's talk. And you keep talking. And that child will always not depart from what you have taught him. But if you are going to be a father who's going to dictate, what I see in them, he has got no emotion to the child. He has got no attachment to his child, because he has never seen him getting born. It's like he's keeping a child who is not his. This is where we find all these things now, which they are talking of DNA, blah, blah. Because if he was there, he would know. He would see the child getting delivered. And maybe some of these things would be cancelled and they won't be there, because he will not have those doubts. He has been there when the child was created. He should be there when the child is delivered. So as we continue, the father should be the leader, as they want to believe they are leaders, although it's the mothers who actually lead from the backwards. Then they follow. Because a lot of us mothers are the ones who are hands-on every time. Meanwhile, the children will just say, okay, because if at all, there was a time when we were seeing this video from Hollywood, where the actresses and actors came on, and they were, each one of them, he was using this word, I love you, mom. I love you, mom. Does it mean that all those people have got no fathers? I mean, fathers should get to a point where they've got to change and be cherished by their children. It is important how do they communicate with their children? Because from there, the world would be a peaceful place. Because the children are not recognizing who their parents are. Neither them, when they get married, they also forget and go back to where they came from, what their fathers used to do. So the boy child needs to be reprogrammed as well. When we have got the boys in the house, we need to start now so that they understand that their sister is going to be supported, not to be vulnerable. A sister shouldn't be vulnerable. The wife shouldn't be vulnerable, because there's a man who is already on the driving seat, who knows how to care for his wife, who knows how to care for his sister. And we won't be having all this that we are going through right now. We know they've been marrying the girl child for a long time. And if you look at those old men, they used to marry 25 of them. From each Pentecost, they'll bring a young girl, 9 years, 12 years. And people were looking at them and thinking that it was fun. It's not fun. Fathers should be responsible for their children and keep them protected and safe. It will not start from the background. They have to be in the front, because they say they are fathers, isn't it? So they should be in the place where we see fathers behaving as fathers, not as pedophiles. Because how do we respect fathers if he's a pedophile? In those children who are 17, 18, they are seeing young children getting into their father's bedroom. How do they behave? You see, this boy, he is actually taking it from way back where the father was, his grandfather was. He did that, and this culture kept on going. Up to now, he doesn't feel any shame or remorse for this. So we need fathers who are responsible in the community so that the children can grow up safely and they have someone to look up to. Until fathers change their direction, children will not recognize them. They will always be there to charge money because the girl child is getting married, or they'll be always there to beat the child because they've done something. As I said, you do not tell your son, you young mothers, do not tell your son that when the dad comes, I'm gonna tell him. No, it's your child. Discipline. Tell that child the correct thing. And when the father comes, sit down together and say, you know what? The child did this. But I think that something wasn't right. Can we help? So we are in a position of helping the child together. Because we are a couple. A child is not for one person. We are parents for this child. The child belongs to both of us. That is what I think.
Thank you so much.
Can I chip in?
Yes.
Sorry. I think we've got here in a situation where the sons are being apprenticed by observing their fathers. The child sees the father bringing a young girl in and saying, "This is now your new mother." And when he sees his own sister who is same age as that young mother, he sees in that person somebody who is also going to be a mother somewhere. The buck has to stop somewhere. And I think this is where we need to educate our boys to really go into these organizations that condone the child marriages and begin to make an influence in those. Have a serious conversation with those organizations, because as long as the boys are being apprenticed to see wives in those babies, this thing will continue. The other day, some weeks back, I was listening to a song. They were at some church, some church somewhere, and they were singing Tinoda Varume Vane Ndebvu, and those were babies, and it was a church song. The people were singing Tinoda Varume Vane Ndebvu. To me, it was psychological preparation of those little girls to accept that they have to take the older men as husbands, not as fathers, but to see a husband in that old man. It's not right, because this is a big battle. It's not just physical, it's also psychological. Is this girl being ready to say, yes, I'm a woman and I can go in there with this big man and be his wife? You see, it is traumatic, I think, for the child bride to go in there with this old man. And it's also painful for me as a mother to see that happening to the little girls. So I see the brainwashing going on, through those songs, the exposure and everything, and then ultimately we see everybody else condoning it and accepting it and saying, I also went in. I was 11 when I got married, and here I am. I'm now a grandmother. It works. We have to break that chain. We as the women must also stand up and say no, and the men must stand up and say no. If your child looks at you and sings "Ndinoda murume unende," should say, I am a father. You are looking for a young man who is young like yourself, and get married to somebody your size, not to that old man. It's not. It's a long battle, ladies. It is a long battle, and we are going to it's really very long. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. I think we'd lost Ruth for a minute there. And I will you please give us your email addresses so that we can start moving with this thing, so that we can all start this later and we can start the movement properly, because we can keep talking till the cows come home. We have to take action at some point. We have to start the ball rolling because we are the mothers. We have to do that. We can't wait for someone else to do that. So please give us your email addresses so that we can all create that group that's going to start the movement, write the letters, and talk to the men. And if you know any men who will be willing to join us, please ask men to join us. Leaders should come on this platform and talk and give us from a men's point of view and talk to the men what's going on. So thank you so much, ladies. Ruth, you can take over now. She's back in the studio.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you, ladies, for weighing. Okay, we're going to watch a video before we leave, but thank you so much for weighing in, for leaning into this issue. Please bring some men on board. We need men on board to talk about this. Thank you. May we have your email addresses, as Deborah said, so that we can do this later, so that we can connect even in private groups, either on Facebook or on WhatsApp. We need to keep this conversation going. We need to do actions. We need to take actions and see it through. We need results. That's what we actually really need. So we'll end our program today with a video by Cecily Neti Mudekunye, who is she works in the NGO sector, and she's on child education and child rights. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming through. Please, tomorrow we are back again at 10:30 Zim time, and we will send a link. So if I have your email, you'll see an invitation, and please share the link. Let us talk, let us bring more women, let us have more voices and opinions so that we can push our issue ahead and watch for results. Thank you so much. Please, if we could have the video.
Kukurudzira vanhu vakuru, especially vana baba, kuti musarodze vana vachiri vadiki. Zvakanaka kuti mwana ngaapedze chikoro. Hungu zvinhu zvingaoma, hungu dzimwe nguva kuchikoro kwacho hazvisi kumufambira zvakanaka, asi zviri nani tigare nevana vedu tichivadzidzisa. Saka hurukuro yetaiva nayo kuikasa yanga iri yekuti vana baba nevana vedu vakomana ngatibetseranei kuti vana vasaroorana vachiri vadiki, mwana mudiki asarodzwa achiri mudiki kune mudhara. Ngatiitei kuti vana vedu vakure vari muchikoro. Uyezve takatarisira kuti mwanasikana akaita nhumbi achiri mwana mudiki anokwanisa kurwadziwa ndiyo zvakanyanya. Anokwanisa kuita mwana anenge ariwo mudiki diki achazokurawo achishupika. Saka vana ngavakure kusvika pakuita munhu mukuru vasati vaita vana ivo pachezvavo.